question that comes up often is, how safe are scaffolds? Now, according to statistics, approximately 60 to 80 people die while using scaffolds every year in the United States.
Before getting on a scaffold, look to see if there are any power lines nearby. If there are, ask your boss if it is okay to use the scaffold. Power lines must be at least 3 feet away from the scaffold when the electricity is no more than 300 volts.
There are two types of clamps. One is rigid or right-angle clamp, and the other one is a swivel clamp. The swivel clamp allows us to attach various tubes to other tubes at any angle, while the rigid or right-angle clamp attaches one tube to another at right angles. The base plate provides stability for the scaffold, and it spreads the leg load. In other words, it helps spread out the load that comes down the leg so that the leg doesn't overload the foundation. Before getting onto a scaffold, you need to look at the foundation to see if everything looks normal. Are the scaffold legs standing straight up and down? Is the floor or catwalk horizontal, or does it bend when you put the scaffold on it?
The height of the scaffold can never be more than 4 times higher than the minimum base. For example, if you have a scaffold that is 5 feet wide and 10 feet long, the scaffold can be built up to 4 times the minimum width, which in this case is 5 feet. The maximum height of this particular scaffold is 20 feet.
Another frequent and common means of access to a scaffold is the stairway. There are several different types of stairways depending upon the type of scaffold being used. However, just like ladders, the first step can never be more than 24 inches above or below the platform you are accessing it from. The only exception to this requirement is when a scaffold leg or other scaffold component does not allow the plank gap to be less than 1 inch. In that case, it is okay to have a bigger space to accommodate the leg or other scaffold component. You can cover the space with plywood, for example, if you think the space is too big and presents a hazard for the type of work you are doing. For all platforms that are constructed with wood planks, you want to make sure the planks extend at least 6 inches over their supports, unless they are secured from movement. For planks that are less than 10 feet long, the plank can extend or overhang their supports a maximum of 12 inches. For plank longer than 10 feet, it is okay to extend or overhang the plank up to a maximum of 18 inches over their supports. Plank should never deflect very much. If the plank deflects more than 2 inches, something is wrong. You have a damaged plank, an overloaded plank, or the wrong plank. Do not use the scaffold until a competent person investigates. Federal OSHA has 2 requirements for top rail height, one for construction and one for general industry. For construction, the distance between the top of the platform and top of the top rail is 38 to 45 inches. For general industry, this distance is 36 to 42 inches.
So for example, if you're on a job where federal OSHA applies, the top rail of the guardrail system can never deflect lower than the 38-inch minimum required distance between the platform and the top rail.
A hook-on and detachable ladders are other common types of ladders that are frequently used with supported scaffolds. The ladders are installed in a vertical position and attached to the scaffold with hooks and brackets.
So here's the deal. Falling object protection is necessary whenever there's somebody working underneath you. You are working underneath somebody else, or there's pedestrian traffic underneath the scaffold.